This is the remains of what used to be a thriving little croft, or maybe even a house in the township of Milton. You can see other remaining ruins of the houses of Milton nearby. But this one is famous because there was a young lady born here in 1722 with a totally unpronounceable Gaelic name that basically comes down to she was Flora, the daughter of Ranald, the son of young Angus, and so it goes on with her genealogy. Even the girl herself shortened her name to Florrie, which has been anglicised to Flora. It was quite a substantial little house, with one arm of it down here. I don't know what was there, maybe the bedroom in which Flora or her parents slept, and over here another part, probably the living room and the kitchen and the dining room and so on. So it was, for the era, quite a substantial house. And when the Jacobite rebellion broke out in 1745, it meant that Flora and her parents had quite a lot to lose if the rebellion failed, as indeed it did at the Battle of Culloden in 1746. And Flora was faced with the choice. Should she aid the defeated Bonnie Prince Charlie, or should she just, with her parents, hunker down and keep quiet and hope to escape notice? I don't know whether to say I'm glad or not, but Flora decided to play the part of a heroine. And when Prince Charlie came here to the island of South Uist, trying to escape from the government forces, he was trapped here. The Hanoverian forces were combing the island of South Uist from end to end, looking for Bonnie Prince Charlie. He needed to get across the water to Skye, where he could be picked up by a French boat. And Flora was arrested. Somehow she managed to persuade the English that she was harmless. They let her go, and that's when she took the bold step of coming to the aid of Bonnie Prince Charlie. One fine day, accompanied by her maid, a thinly disguised prince, I hope he shaved his beard, she boarded a boat, was passed by the British troops, and sailed across the sea to Skye, from whence we have the Skye Boat Song. It would be nice to report that a grateful prince married young Flora and carried her off, and they lived happily ever after. Unfortunately, it didn't work out like that. Bonnie Prince Charlie appears to have been a somewhat petulant, bad-tempered young man, and later drank himself to death. So perhaps Flora had a narrow escape. Instead, she came back here to South Uist, where the unromantic government arrested her again. She was taken off to London, imprisoned, but released after just a year. And then in 1750, 4 years after all this, she married a local man. Unfortunately, although he belonged to one of the foremost families on the island, he had financial troubles, and the couple decided to emigrate to America, to North Carolina. And they got there just as the Americans revolted against the British government. And would you believe it? They enlisted on the British side. Well, as we know, the British side lost. The Americans were successful. The couple had to flee to Nova Scotia, and from there they eventually came back home here to the island of Skye. I don't know how long he lived, but Flora lived until she was 68. She was met by Dr. Johnson when he did his tour of Scotland, and he praised her for a woman of courage. When she finally died, she was buried with honour on the island of Skye. It is said that the funeral cortege which accompanied her to the grave was a mile long, and as a real mark of the esteem in which she was held, 300 gallons of whiskey were consumed at the wake. Flora MacDonald, the heroine of South Uist.